The thing that we must validate if you want to get success with your store is, do you have proof of product concept? And what I mean by that is, can you validate that your customer is actually getting value out of the products that you sell? It seems really simple and really straightforward, but you wouldn't believe how many people don't validate this. And what happens is they end up building an expensive store, spending a ton on ads, and the customers they're selling to actually don't like the products, right? So you absolutely need to validate that your customer is impressed with what you're selling. They actually use the product and get value from it, and your product delivers on what you said that it would do. Does your product meet your customers' expectations? And ultimately, does your product serve its function? Right? I have a picture here of a seed. Just imagine you were walking through a farmer's market and you wanted to buy seeds to grow an apple tree. If you buy the seed, do you plant it? Does it grow into a nice apple tree with really juicy apples? If I did go through that process and I bought those seeds and I checked out and I grew this amazing tree, I would be very impressed, right? And the company who sold me those seeds definitely has proof of concept, because I am validating that I was impressed with what they were selling. So I got to ask you that right now. Have you exchanged cash with your customers, and have you validated they were impressed with what they were buying? This is the absolute first thing we must validate. So a lot of people in the program who sell in farmers markets, or they do pop-up shops, or they've sold somewhere else organically, oftentimes they all have proof of product concept because they had conversations with their customer, they exchanged cash, and they received that feedback that validated what they were selling was impressive to that customer, right? So if you haven't exchanged cash with a customer, this is the first thing that you must do. You need to get your product into your customer's hands to measure how impressed they are with what you're selling. If you do not have proof of product concept, you absolutely need to take a step back and get this done. It doesn't need to be rocket science either. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to go exchange cash with a customer and validate that they were impressed. And one really important thing I want you to consider about proof of product concept: if you sell products in a product category that already is in demand, you probably already have proof of product concept baked into it. Like if you sell t-shirts, you know that people already get value out of t-shirts, so you probably already have proof of product concept. If you sell coffee, even though it might be like the wildest coffee in the world and only a select few people like it, you probably have proof of product concept baked in if at least some customers have tried that coffee and loved it. But if you sell a product in a product category that isn't already in demand, like you sell an innovative product that solves an innovative solution that is new to the market, you probably don't have proof of product concept baked in, and you absolutely need to sell that product to the right customer and get their feedback. And if they don't get value the first time, you actually might need to reiterate the product itself. So if you sell a product that's in a category that's already in demand, it's very likely that you don't need to reinvent the wheel on what the product is. You would just need to rework the positioning and the offer, which we're going to talk about in the next section. But if you sell a product that's an innovation, right, and it's solving a new, unique problem to the market, you absolutely need to get out there and talk to customers, get their feedback, and potentially reiterate the prototype of what the product actually is itself until it makes sense for that customer base. So first things first, can everybody who's watching validate that you have proof of product concept? It's pretty straightforward. Have you exchanged cash with a customer, and have they validated that they were impressed with what you are selling? If that sounds like you, you're good, and we're ready to move on to the next section. And if you haven't done that yet, it could be pretty simple. Just get your products and go speak to friends and family and maybe people in your extended network and get the product in their hands, exchange cash, and validate that they're receiving value. It's that simple. And let's move on to the next section where we're going to talk about validating product market fit.